You ready?
Yeah, man.
Making sure you're clearing your nose there. Feel better?
Yeah.
All right, guys. So welcome to the third episode of the Untamed podcast. Today we got our intern with us, Lane. He just graduated high school and he's excited to be working with the Untamed. We've already had him out quite a bit, but before we get into Lane, I think there's something we need to discuss. Here recently, there was some images surfaced of Josh drinking a martini at Applebee's. And I just think that he owes it to the viewers viewers and listeners to explain himself a little bit there.
I don't have anything to explain. You know, I like having a cold adult beverage every now and then. And we had been at the ball field all day, and when we got to the restaurant we were at, I decided I didn't want to have a beer, and I ordered a margarita. I like margaritas, but what normally doesn't happen is when they bring the martini glass out with the shakers, I ask them for a large water glass to put it in, so it doesn't look like I have one of those feminine glasses that I have to sip out of. But in all the hoorah, and we had 30 people from the team, I did not want to bother the waitress with asking her to bring me a different glass, so I sipped out of the martini glass with my cold margarita. And obviously Jay and my wife snapped pictures of me sipping out of the martini glass and make fun of me. So I will have a margarita every now and then, and not ashamed of it.
Okay, well, I mean, you got this big manly look to you. You got the tattoos, the tight sleeves, the beard, all year long. I just felt like you owed it to our listeners and viewers.
Well, I don't want our listeners or viewers to get any different perspective of me because I'm drinking out of our martini glass.
Okay, all right. Well, I just wanted to clear the air there and make sure everything was good to go. So now that we have that covered, guys, we're going to go into what are we currently doing and planning for our year. And it's kind of like we're going to be talking about our schedule for this year, what we have in mind. And, I guess we're going to start things off August 31st. We'll be pumping out a bunch of bear videos. How many days is that season?
That is a 16-day season.
Yep. 16-day season in southern West Virginia. It's only in 4 counties. And we'll be bear hunting just about every single day. I'll probably be out every day.
Well, I don't think we'll be out every day, but I think last year was the first year we had the 2-week season. And I think out of the 16 days that we hunted 12.
Yeah.
It is a hard season. Everybody was super pumped that the DNR opened the early season up for us because it just gives us more hunting days. But those it used to be a week long, and then they extended it to 2 weeks here in in those counties. But it is just an extremely hard season on the dogs and on us because of the heat. The heat's the biggest factor. Now we got lucky. Was it last year that we hit some cooler weather?
Not that I remember.
It might have been the year before in those 2 weeks that we hit a little cooler weather. But historically it's 95 degrees. Humidity's terrible. We get out and hunt at daylight, and we try to be out of the woods by 10 or 11.
Yeah, and that time of year it seems like, you got issues of the dogs overheating, and so really you just kind of want to run, once a day and get it, and start as early as possible.
Yeah, the all-day hunts are not happening. We don't want them to happen. Now, we have been on some all-day hunts in the early season.
Right.
Because of the distance of the chases and us not being able to catch up. But we try to get in and out as fast as possible because of the heat on the dogs.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if you don't know, and, compared to December, where we're out pretty much all day long.
Yeah, you can hunt daylight to dark.
And that is because of
the heat.
Right.
It's just easier on the dogs. And heck, it's easier on us.
Right.
I mean, it's not easy to trample around in the woods chasing dogs
Right.
for 3 or 4 hours when it's 95 degrees.
Yep.
But that's what we mainly look for. And it's harder in the early season also if you get on a bear early, with it being so dry. And say you get on a bear early and you get it taken care of by 9 or 10 in the morning. Well, then you're looking for tracks from the night before that are now 8, 9, 10 hours old.
Yep.
And it's just extremely hard in that dry weather for them to get started. So
Yeah.
we just don't find any reason to. If we can run one a day, then it's good, and all the dogs are good, and all of us are fine. Then that's what we kind of stick to in that season.
Yeah, and sometimes somebody can rig, someone can rig about the same time, because a lot of times we'll split off in the mornings.
Yeah.
And people, someone might ride their dogs down this ridge or wherever, and you can get on a couple bears, but it's all got to be done early.
Yeah. I mean, getting started early is key, and
Yep.
getting it finished early.
Yep.
When we split up, that's usually when we don't get a rig right off the bat, because we usually all stick together during early season so that we can have the maximum amount of dogs that provide pressure to put the bear up in a tree.
Right. Okay, well then after that season comes in, a few days later, I believe it's around the 6th or 7th, Kentucky season comes in. And if you all watched our whitetail videos last year, we didn't whitetail hunt Kentucky. But this year, we plan on whitetail hunting Kentucky and trying to kill a velvet buck, which we discussed a little bit in the past podcast.
Now, you'll be going to Kentucky with him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I would love to kill a velvet deer.
Yep.
And Kirk has been researching on our HuntWise app some public lands over in Kentucky that we're going to try to get to in the next 2 weeks and look at,
Yep.
glass, scout it out.
Yep, and that'll of course be in future videos. But yeah, we're gonna get over there, and their season comes in around the 6th or 7th. Well, we still got like another week or more of bear season. So what we'll be doing is, that's the cool part about, as far as we can bear hunt the mornings, and then we'll load up, and as soon as we get done, get the dogs taken care of, and then head to Kentucky, which is a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, it's easier said than done. But I was just talking about this with a fan of ours. We were in Kentucky playing baseball this weekend, and a fan had shot me a message, and while we saw me and Jay at Applebee's, well, he came over to the hotel afterwards, and we sat around and talked, and he's like, "Where do you all find time to put out what you put out?" And I said, "That's part of the Untamed lifestyle. It's not just us going out and hunting. It's us finding the balance between our jobs, our work, our families, everything that each one of us do. I mean, there's a balance, but then it's just all out, just go.
Right.
No matter what. I mean, if I work all day and we're going to run dogs at night, I mean, I might get home at 10 o'clock. I might not get home till the next morning. Then I got to work again.
Right.
But that's kind of what you were talking about with bear season. I mean, it will be hard because we'll be up at 4 in the morning, hunt till 10 or 11, put the dogs up, change, go to Kentucky,
Yep.
and you're hunting till dark.
Yeah.
And then you're going to do it all over again the next morning. You're going to wake up at 4 and go bear hunting again.
Yeah. And then what happens if you shoot a deer that evening?
That's right.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be out taking care of it.
So, yeah, there's a lot of factors there for us in the early season. And, Josh and Jay, they both have kids. They both have jobs and everything like that. It's a little bit easier on me right now.
Yeah, it is, but it's not, because in the midst of you trying to hunt and get content, you're also trying to edit everything that we're doing.
Right.
Same thing with Lane.
Yep.
He doesn't have a full-time job, but he's trying to do things in his personal life, but then also help us out and learn.
Right.
So there's always a balance of time, but there's really never enough time.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, the hourglass doesn't stop.
Right. It'd be nice just to have a few more extra days of rut.
Yeah. We would like to have 3 weeks of extra December season.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that would be great.
If it started the first week of November.
Yeah.
And ran for 2 months.
I don't know about the November there. We know that's deer time.
Well, it is deer time, but we always make time for everything anyway.
Right. So I guess after that Kentucky season, West Virginia and Ohio season will be right around the corner after that, and of course we plan on bouncing around to those are the primary states we plan on hunting. At least I plan on hunting. I don't have as far as I was trying to get a Wyoming deer tag and wasn't able to. I put in for their leftover draw. I didn't put in for their original draw, and I didn't get a tag. So I'll primarily just be hunting West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky. And Lane and I, and of course, whenever Josh and Jay can go, but I plan on hunting almost every single day. So that'll be, I say that now, but we'll see when season
Well,
ends.
I mean, once Labor Day hits,
yeah,
we're pretty much, and that's the greatest thing with Stacy, my wife, is she understands like from September to the end of January. And then everybody thinks, well, January, what season you going to? Well, I didn't get to go last year because of ATA, and you all went out. But
hey, you're skipping us here. You're getting ahead of us.
What'd I do?
You're getting ahead.
Oh, I thought you already covered.
All right, yeah, we'll roll into it. Let's go. All right, we're getting in the mountain line now.
But no, we're going to take a trip out west.
Yeah.
And mountain lion hunt with a buddy of ours that we've become friends with on social media, and really excited about that. We'll let you all know about where we're going and who we're going with, and later on.
Yeah, and then too, I know some of the guys we bear hunt with. Then I went last year. They go out and hunt public land in New Mexico, and I'm sure they plan on doing that as well. And so there will be a lot. That's something that we haven't done. We still have a mountain lion video on the hard drive we haven't put out yet, but in January and February we're going to have a ton of cat stuff.
Yeah, and predator stuff. I mean,
right.
Imagine the time the stuff that the coyote hunting that we did this year.
Yeah.
That we haven't put out yet.
Yeah.
I mean, and we really pound the woods hard January, February, March predator hunting.
Right. And then rolls into April.
And then it rolls right into turkey season.
So
it's all doing it all over.
Never ends.
So this is kind of the lull time for us, the summertime.
Right. It's the, we consider it the lull time, but we're still running multiple times a week.
Yeah. And Kirk's running a lot more than us, and Lane's getting out more than us right now.
Yeah. But that's because I'll go with everybody's work schedules don't line up together. Chad might run one day, Josh might run one day, Zach might run one day, and Jimmy Good might run on Saturday, which today's video, this podcast will probably be out around Thursday, but Monday's video, this is being recorded Monday. That'll be a hunt where we went over with Jimmy Good, and Chad couldn't run, Josh couldn't run that day, and that's why I get to go so much, is because everyone's schedules don't line up together, so I just go when Josh goes or when Chad goes or when Jimmy goes.
Yeah, I mean, and that's how it goes. Did you go over Saturday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Lane wasn't he's coon hunted and rabbit hunted. His dad's a big rabbit hunter, but he's never bear hunted. So he's had a little bit of a learning curve in the
It's new.
past 6, 7, 8 weeks with us on the bear hunting.
He's began hound hunting, but for men now. So
yeah,
Yeah, I hear you.
That's right. So have you enjoyed the bear hunting side?
I like it a whole lot better, honestly.
Than what?
Coon hunting.
Oh, that part of the side.
Yeah.
I wasn't even going to recognize that side.
no, don't be hating on coon hunters.
I don't know. It's just different.
I like coon hunting.
Oh no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean everything's just different to a point where, like driving around and hunting and rigging, it just all plays into it. What I like better.
When you all coon hunting, you all what they call free cast a lot more
Yeah.
than what we consider free casting.
Yeah.
We talked about that on the last podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I know it has to be an adjustment for you because I noticed the other day you were snoozing on me a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'm not used to that.
We were out hunting, and I didn't get home till almost midnight. But we were out till about midnight that Friday night, and then Saturday. What time did you get up?
I had to get up at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Meet me at Magic Mart, and we drove an hour and ran dogs all morning. And I caught him. First time I caught him, he was giving it one of these head bobs, you know.
And
I just couldn't hang.
It doesn't have to do anything with hanging, man. I can hang with the best of them, but I like catching a nap. Everybody knows that. There's nothing wrong with taking a nap.
But it depends on when that nap is. It
Oh,
can't,
we were trying to rig, and I was sitting there.
Yeah.
Oh,
not
you
head
were still
bobbing.
hunting.
Yeah.
Oh, Bubba, you can't do that.
yeah.
I couldn't hang in there.
He hasn't learned. If y'all follow us on Instagram last December, I always post videos when I was getting Monster energy drinks at the gas station. But he hasn't learned that trick yet. And I'm not on a monster kick anymore. I've been drinking Bangs and Rain, which are like crack cocaine in a bottle. I mean, there's 300 milligrams of full speed. I don't even know what's in them. But if you drink one, don't plan on sleeping for about 12 hours.
Yeah, and see, I go on just natural high.
Yeah, I can't do that.
You know,
I look over there like Lane just bobbing for apples.
Oh, it was bad.
Was it bad?
Oh, yeah, a few times hit my head on the window. It
Oh, you
was,
sound like Brody.
They'd ask him a question. He'd be like, yeah, yeah.
it was bad.
You can tell he had no idea what they said. Yeah. Where do you go to school at, Lane? Yeah.
No idea, just tired.
Yeah.
Well, I would get used to that because once the fall rolls around,
Oh, yeah.
we stay after it.
Yeah.
I mean, and we talk about it. We talked about it last week. We talk about it all the time. That's one of the biggest parts of our success is giving ourselves the maximum opportunities.
Yeah.
And the maximum opportunities come from being out there.
Yeah. I mean,
It's as simple as that.
if you're out there enough, eventually you're going to get lucky.
That's right.
You know,
I mean-
not that every kill we have is lucky, but you put yourself in that position. You know, you can't get lucky sleeping on the couch.
That's exactly right. I mean, turkey season was a great example of that. You know, everybody, you get on social media and everybody's like, "Oh, the season is terrible. The birds aren't making any noise. They're not being audible.
Right.
Not talking."
Right.
And everybody go out and hoot in the morning. Didn't hear any gobblers.
Pack it up.
It was hard for me
They pack it up, go home.
because I had school where everything for graduation was rolling right then.
Yeah.
I couldn't go every day.
Yeah. Well, when people were packing it up, you know, you can hunt till noon.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed out till noon.
No, you
How
hunt
many-
till 1.
Well, how many days did we stay out?
Oh, a lot.
I mean,
We killed a lot of birds midday.
yeah, where we wouldn't hear anything in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
But we would just keep on walking, keep on calling, keep on walking, keep on calling. When most people went home
Yeah.
and got back in bed, or they went on to work. You know, a lot of people go out and try to hit a couple hours and get that hot bird before they go into work.
All right.
But you see the actual guys that are committed to turkey hunting, they stayed out and they were successful as well.
All right, and that translates into that persistency translates into bear hunting, whitetail hunting. You know, just because you don't have a deer on camera doesn't mean you can get out there and learn something.
That's right.
So,
Doesn't, I mean, it tells you that deer walked across your camera at that time,
right,
but it's not telling you anything else.
right. Doesn't mean he's not somewhere else at a different time.
That's exactly, I mean,
Go figure it out.
there could be 15 other cameras in the area that other people have that
Yeah.
getting pictures of him too.
Yep.
So everybody always asks me, man, how do you all do what you do? We're out there.
Yep.
It's as simple as that. Doesn't matter if it's raining, snowing, sunshine, windy. If it's in season, we're hunting.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Well, let's roll into some questions now. We in our first podcast, I put up a thing asking people could type in questions on Instagram, and we didn't get to quite a few of them. So, do you have any wrote down, or you want me to start with some of these?
Oh, you can start. I've got a few wrote down, but you can start it off and we'll see where it goes.
All right. So, if you are familiar with the hound hunting world and you watch hound videos, you probably came across Res Hounds, and that's Calvin with Res Hounds. He asked us there, is there a certain line of dogs that we run, and are papers important to your dogs? So, Josh, I'll let you hand it over to you from there.
For me,
Yeah.
I don't have papers on any of my dogs. Do I know where all my dogs came from? Yeah, I know what breeder, or if I got a pup from somebody out of our group. I know that, and most of our viewers and listeners know that there's a lot of us in our group that runs Mike Kemp blood.
Yep.
He's
Which is 3 Bear Kennels.
3 Bear Kennels out in Oregon, and we've ran his dogs for probably 8 or 9 years now, in and out. I've had a couple that were real good dogs, but bad luck killed a couple, and I've got two new ones from him now. Then I've got another one that's got Kemp blood in him. Was 100% Kemp, out of Kempy and Tilly.
And he's referring to Kempy as that's a dog's name.
Yeah, and Tilly's another dog that we hunt with, Jimmy Good's dog. And most of his dogs, I've talked to Mike. I actually just talked to him today, and I understand why Mike doesn't want to talk about his pedigree as in names and words, but I can tell you that with Mike, all his he puts treating walker, running walker in all of his dogs. Now, what percentages they are, it depends on what he's crossing.
Right, and I'm sure he has it. He's not just putting 2 random running and training walker dogs together. He's got it thought out, and reason why he wants to cross those 2.
Oh, he's a scientist.
Absolutely.
And of a dog breeder. The one pup I have, the male dog, Huck, he's half and half with treating walker and running walker. And the female, the Jip I have from him that I just got, she's 75% running, 25% treating, with a small. He said maybe a 16th or a 32nd of a trig.
Yeah.
That's a big misconception that everybody thinks that a lot of Kemp dogs are just ate up and got all this trig blood in them.
Yeah.
And if you talk to Mike and you talk about his old dogs, he said that maybe if he goes back to his old Arrow dog, that he might have had an 1/8 of trig in him.
Yeah.
So, and then I've got so that's that's the kind of the bloodlines of the dogs I'm moving to. That would be my whole pack.
Yeah.
Breeding within our group and getting dogs from Mike.
Right. Now your plot dog, could he have had papers? You just didn't send them in?
He probably is papered.
Yeah.
I just didn't get the papers from the owner when I bought him.
And probably I'd say your blue dog too.
Yeah. And definitely, I actually have papers on Zeus.
Yeah. See, guys, I'm thinking for Josh, getting the gears going.
But I don't pay attention to papers. But
Yeah.
I do have papers on Zeus.
Right.
My blue dog and the red dog, I know that I got him from another hunting group. That Jip, that she had, those guys are big on the swamp rooster bloodline in the reds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily worry about the pedigrees because once I get to handling them and hunting them, you're gonna know if you're gonna keep the dog or pass the dog off.
Right.
But I think everybody in the group would agree. I mean, I don't know how many dogs in our group have Kemp blood in them. I would say 80% of them now.
Yeah, probably 80 to 85%.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first started running, I didn't know anything about dogs. I didn't even know. I mean, I didn't even understand really what hounds were. I didn't have any idea. But all everybody talked about was Kemp. And that's what I noticed. Every one of our, almost every one of our dogs had Kemp blood in them.
Yeah, and that's Craig and Zach's. He's an older dog that they've had that he got off not 100%, but I'm pretty sure they bought him from a guy that came out of Kemp's Kennels.
Yeah, and they're talking about the dog. The dog's name is Kempy, but it came from Mike Kemp.
Yeah.
So it's kind of strange there. Not strange, but it's confusing when you're talking about him because we say Kempy and we're referring to the dog. not Mike.
And then in that time, Craig and Zach bought, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe 6 dogs.
Yeah.
Either Mike Kemp bred hounds off other people or from Mike himself. And that really has been a huge part of our group's success, is us crossing out between ourselves.
Right.
And the dog, that bloodline is just, it is bred to hunt.
Right.
And it's bred to catch bears.
Right.
I don't think that's where Mike, when he started breeding, I don't think he was breeding for bear hounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We had talked about that. He said they just make great bear hounds.
Yeah. And see, I think a lot of people, from what I gather online, reading primarily on Facebook, I'm not on any forums or anything like that, but a lot of people around, especially in West Virginia, they don't really understand like a running walker and a treeing walker. They just consider like a walker just like as one dog, and there's no difference between them. But most of the dogs you see that people, I guess, hunt are around here, at least in our area, are mainly just like 100% treeing walker coonhounds. And these dogs have running walker in them, which I see a lot of running walkers, like I said, not around here, not in West Virginia, but down in like North Carolina, Virginia and stuff, where they're running deer and stuff like that, coyotes. I guess in Vermont, I believe there's some guys up there that do it.
Well, I mean, Mike, and I keep on going back to Mike because that's mainly the bloodlines that we have.
Uh-huh.
They're bred to catch game, and he puts, and like I said, he has half and half in some of his dogs between running and treeing. Me personally, I like a little more running.
Yeah.
And that's just a dog that is going to run on the track. He's going to bark a little bit. He's not going to sit there and power on the wood, when he's treeing.
Mm-hmm.
But you can train that dog to tree.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like to me that the treeing walk will run the track harder, like not harder, but will stay on the track. And a running walker will wind the track with its head up, moving. And I don't know if that's true or not, but like I said, I've been hound hunting now for just about 2 years, and from what I can gather, Chad, and this is the only thing I'm going off of, Chad has a 100% treeing walker. His name's Ike, and he's extremely cold-nosed, can rig, and he's not related to anything we have. He's not very fast at all, but he can always get a track started, and he can rig. And what he does is, I've seen him do it. Say he gets behind, and the dogs are coming around a holler. He will stay on that track and won't, even if the dogs are straight across from him, he won't cut over and go to them. He will run that track out. Whereas a running walker, they might leave that track and go get up there with those other dogs, and they won't run. He won't leave that track. He stays on that track, and those running walkers seem like they'll run with their head up and just kind of wind the track. The bear may have crossed, 10 yards or more from where he came down, but those dogs might be to the left or right of him, just winding it as they're going.
Yeah, they're continuously just cutting that track.
Yeah.
Cutting the scent.
Yeah. And from what I've gathered, and I know you've bought dogs from him, but Mike's just trying to breed an overall, like, the best possible bear dog.
Yeah, he goes. He calls out litters when they go. One of the greatest things with Mike is he does not send a dog away from his kennels until they're 5 months old.
Mm-hmm. And he puts them through
because he gets them started and sees how they're going to act, because he doesn't want to send them out to any customer at 8 weeks old without him knowing what he's sending them.
Right.
And that's Mike's big thing, and he guarantees his hounds, as long as they're hunted, they're going to hunt.
Right. And everyone I've seen, if they're hunted, they turn out to be bear dogs.
Yeah. If they're notorious, I can tell you this. Mike will tell you this. When you get them, they're very timid. They're very shy. They've never been rode in the trucks with the older dogs. Those pups hunt together. That's all they do.
Yeah.
They're not ever hunted with older dogs. So when you get them, you have to give them time to acclimate and spend time with them, and put them in the truck with the dogs and let them run around. Those 2 pups I just got, the first time we took them out, they wouldn't come out of the dog box.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember
mean,
being like,
you just tuck her up, and Kirk was like,
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they don't want to hunt.
you just spent a pretty penny on them, and
That's
they wouldn't
right.
come out of the dog box.
That's right. So on our third trip out with them,
But
they busted out.
yeah,
And
Huck ran great.
you know, Brody and I, my son, you know, for the first month we had him, we'd take him out on rope in our field and mess with them with the tone, let them learn their name, the tone, shock, and letting them just lick all over us and get used to it. And now,
Yeah.
they're right in the mix.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Jimmy Good, who we run with all the time, he just got a litter mate to Josh's dog.
To the Jip, yeah,
Yeah,
Storm.
and they're 8 months old now. And that dog the other day, somebody else got a bear track started, like one of the guys we were hunting with, and we cut while the dog had just jumped the bear and ran across the road, and we cut in the rest of the dogs, which is, like I said, that's Monday's video. And he cut in that puppy. The puppy's name's Karma, 8 months old, and they ran, a decent way, especially for an 8-month-old dog, and it went the entire way. Was there a tree when we got there?
And 2 weeks ago, Jimmy took that pup out, and she didn't want to hunt. So she just run around. Because since the previous owner had her, she'd been on a chain.
Yeah.
Not getting hunted. And I think that no matter if it's a dog from camp or anywhere, I think if you're not hunting them, they're just going to become stagnant. They're not. I mean, you have to take any dog, any hound that you're going to take out there. You got to get them out there and hunt.
Yep.
I've had comments about my box. I've got all kinds of different color in my box. Chad, he's multicolored box.
Yeah. Which now he's pretty much just Kemp.
Yeah. He's got a couple walkers.
Yeah.
But we hunt whatever works.
Yeah.
I think the only box that's strictly is Bucky and the Markhams.
Yeah.
Zach and Craig, they all got walkers and then nothing else.
Yeah.
Now, whether they're camp hounds or not, it's kind of a mix. I think Markham's got all camps now, and Bucky's pretty close.
Yeah. Okay, so here's getting off that topic for a while. It says, how many dogs do you guys hunt with? So, Josh, how many dogs do you have?
I've got 8. Zach and Craig got 10 or 12.
Yeah.
Chad's got 10 or 12.
Yeah.
Bucky's
I believe he's got 11.
11.
Yep.
Bucky has 7 or 8.
Yeah, I'd say about 8 now.
But now he just had 2 litters of pups, and so he's going to be come December season, he should have some pups that are running.
Mm-hmm.
At least hunting.
Yep.
And Jimmy Good, I think he keeps. I'd say Jimmy's got 10 or 12.
Yep.
Most of the time, though, like early season, we'll just use early season. This September season, comes in Labor Day weekend for 2 weeks. No, there won't be. There'll be very few days where every one of us has our dogs.
Yep.
When, as in December, we hunt our dogs pretty well every day.
Yep.
Because of the heat and keeping fresh dogs, we'll hunt dogs, half our pack, and then the next day we'll let them rest and hunt the other half. Because it's a long season to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So within our group, to answer the question, with the group that we hunt with, I'd say there's 50 hounds.
Yeah. And that doesn't, rarely are you going to see 50 hounds on the tree. Normally when a bear goes up, there's probably, it depends on where the bear was started, who gets cut in and stuff, but usually, there's like 2 or 3 dogs that are responsible actually for the bear going up. But there's a lot more hounds. Like there may have been somebody else may have got it started, and someone may have cut in quicker. There's different factors, and a lot of times what you see is, when there's a bear treed, people like if you got puppies or if you just want to get your dogs in their tree, there looks like there's a million dogs at the trees. Well, that's just because people want the dogs to see the bear in the tree, and even though their dogs weren't involved in the chase, they're developing them. So that's why in our videos,
for training purposes,
right? In our videos, you'll see a bunch of dogs at the tree. Normally, there's not literally that many. There's not like if there's 60 dogs running a track or 50 dogs running a track, that's pretty rare.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I'd say the most I've seen running one bear at a time, and it's dogs that are behind, dogs that have been packed in probably. I mean, I've seen 30 dogs on a chase before.
Yeah.
And it's awesome because it sounds like a freight train.
Yeah.
And
Roaring.
Yeah, you can hear that roar just way distant. It's just one constant, just woo.
Yeah.
And then as it gets closer, you can start hearing each hound, and it is. If you've never heard it, it's just awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great sound when it echoes in these halls.
They like to call it mountain music.
Yeah.
So, let's see, another question. When are y'all getting new hats in? We should have them by the absolute latest. And if we don't, it's Josh or Jay's fault, so y'all can blame them. We should have them by bear season, August 31st. If we don't have them by then, somebody's getting fired.
Somebody has dropped the ball. Staying on the bear topics, a question from one of our YouTube viewers. Do you all ever have any issues while bear hunting with other bear hunting groups or on public land disputes?
And that was also a question on Instagram. Is it very competitive running hounds in your area?
Yes. Have we had any other? Has anything ever got so ugly with us bear hunting? No, I've not experienced it here.
Yeah. I haven't seen. I mean, since I've been hunting, guys, I haven't seen one issue, not a single issue.
I mean, we see bear hunting groups out sometimes where we're hunting. We go the other direction, because even if they're in an area we want to hunt, we're confident enough that we can go somewhere else without any confrontation, and we'll go run a bear somewhere else.
Right? Yeah.
We're going to get on a bear, you know.
Right. And down here, there's no, I guess, it seems like in southern states, there's big leases. Everybody's got clubs where they run deer and stuff. And we don't have that down here. There's no, like, clubs or big leases that we hunt or anything like that.
No, and then, you know, getting on the WMAs here is very hard for hound hunters.
And the WMA is just public land for you all that don't know.
Yeah, it's a wildlife management area, and you're not allowed any motorized vehicles here.
Right.
So we wouldn't be maximizing our time if we took off walking through WMA with our hounds to strike a track, because it would take us all day to get through one.
Right. And it's not saying that we won't ever do that. We could, you know.
Yeah.
But it's not our first choice.
Well, I can tell you, if we would get a fresh snow in December, I would love to do that.
Yeah.
To go through the WMA and because it would increase our odds of being able to see the track. But we've not had. Now I've hunted up north, in the northern part of the state, and there's such an influx in the population of bear hunters in the eastern panhandle and the northern part of the state that I have seen some disputes get ugly. But I'm just a guest up there, and I kind of just keep to myself. I'm not going to get involved in them. My opinion is it's not worth it. Everybody's out there trying to hunt. As long as somebody, I guess I would disagree with another group coming on if you had property leased up, and it was yours.
Oh, of course.
There'd be an issue.
Yeah.
But most of the time when we're hunting, it's property that, you know, anybody can hunt. So why should there be any confrontation? But it does get that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if just throwing a scenario out there. Say somebody's running a bear and their dog's running across a gravel road or something, and someone is also hunting that area, has no idea they're in that area. They go driving through and rig that track. They cut dogs loose on it because it's a hot track. Well, we all end up at the same tree, and it gets a little awkward.
Yeah, and then there's also, in that same scenario, say that the other guys that run that bear across the road, they could be sitting there on the track waiting for tail end dogs, and they could very well look at you and say, "Hey, we just run one across the road. Y'all want to help us out? We've been running it for 3 or 4 hours and they can't catch it. If y'all ain't got anything going, you want to jump in here and try to help us get this thing treed?" And might jump right in with them.
Yeah.
We hear stories of the disputes and the issues within the bear hunting community, but for us, I mean, I've not seen it. I know you haven't seen it.
Mm-mm.
I've been doing it a long time. I mean, I've seen some very minute issues, but not really had any big disputes.
Yep. Okay, well, here's a good question. Have you seen a decline in deer with a rise in bear populations? And my opinion on that is no.
Yeah, I would. I don't have any scientific data,
Right.
but in my opinion, I'm with you. I don't think that. I think that the bear population is growing.
Yeah.
But do I think that with the bear population growing, that the deer population is decreasing? No, I don't.
Right. And it seems like some areas have more deer, some areas have more bears, some areas have just as many deer as there are bear.
Yep.
You know, for our area where we hunt, and it just depends on where you're at.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know like I said, the science of it. I think that our DNR here in West Virginia, if there was that issue, I think they would be adjusting seasons
Right.
in order to contain it or control it.
Right. And they obviously, I mean, they have opened up some seasons down here. They've opened up 4 counties for that early season, and that wasn't always around.
No, I think it was 5 years ago they opened it, and it was like 3 days, then it went to 5 days, and then a week, and now it's 2 weeks. Obviously, we have a healthy population of bears.
Right.
But is it hurting the deer population? I'm going to say no, because if anybody would do their research, you would see how many.
Deer were harvested in previous years compared to now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And or the quality of deer.
Yeah.
That have been harvested.
Yep.
Last year, I felt like there was a potload of quality deer harvested here
Yeah.
in
West Virginia.
In West Virginia.
Yep.
So no, I don't think it affects it. I mean, I'd like to hear what a biologist had to say.
Right. Right. And we are not biologists by any means. We are just 3 dudes with headphones talking.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely not throwing my name in the scientific mix.
Right. So we're just throwing our opinion out there, guys. So don't hold us, don't get mad at us if we get something wrong. And if you think we've got something wrong, please feel free to comment and let us know, because I mean, we would like to be right, and we'd like to correct our mistake. So
Yeah, I mean, on the bears, one listener wants to know the distance of the chases.
how long a bear will run?
Again, there's no scientific data. I honestly think if a bear's ate a good meal that morning and he's feeling spunky,
Yeah.
he's gonna run a long way.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about with Chad the other day. I
I
said,
think if you cut loose on that bear that just got his belly full and he's been at the watering hole,
he's feeling primed up.
yeah,
He's like an NFL player, in the locker room for the game, feeling good. He's getting loose.
yeah. I mean, it varies. I mean,
Here's something interesting that I would like to know. If you're a houndsman, you comment and let us know if you have this same experience. There's some areas we run, guys, where the bears are they're so hard to tree.
you can catch them.
Yeah,
but
you
ain't
can.
treating 'em.
You can. And we do tree one every now and then, but it's like you just got to get lucky and find the one,
But then that's the first part of the question is if you guys experience a place where the bears will tree easier than other places you hunt.
Right. And then, like I'm saying, and then we can go somewhere else, like in a neighboring county, and tree bears, I don't want to say easy, but much easier than we can in another place. And it's kind of mind-blowing to me, and I don't understand it. Even we'll get on good bears. I mean, like big bears, the ones that are supposed to be easier to catch and all that, and they're still tough to tree. But like we said, we can go into other areas and just tree them all day long.
But then what's the difference between, like right now, throughout the whole summer, it's hard to tree bears in that area.
Yeah.
But then in December, we can go tree bears.
Yeah.
There.
I mean, if you're asking me, what's the
You can
difference?
chalk it up to the dogs
The
being
dog,
a lot
I
better
mean,
shape
that's the only thing you can.
and the weather. I mean,
Right.
but what's the longest chase you've been on?
In the summer or
No, that you can remember. I mean,
honestly, I don't know. Well, it actually would be this past summer, because a lot of times in December the chases aren't extremely long, and so the longest chase that I've been on this summer was with Chad. That, like I said, that I can remember, and it was we dropped. You can see on our Garmin handhelds, you can drop a pin where we start, and it gives you a straight line distance. Well, it was like 4.89 miles straight line. And those dogs ran way, way, way longer than 4.89 miles because that's a straight line distance. They were going up, around, all the way. I mean, a crazy path. That's that's as a crow flies, not what they actually ran. Who knows how many miles they actually ran that day. So I guess that would be my longest chase that I've experienced.
yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because I've had chases that you drop the dogs on a hot track. Me, Zach, and Mark and Kevin from up north dropped on a track, and the dogs showed tree within 30 seconds. And I'm not kidding you. We was like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
You know,
They're hung on a wall or something.
What's happened down there?
Yeah.
And we go running down. The dogs have only gone maybe 200 yards. And I said, daggone it, they got one tree. and that was the first bear that I ever saw come down forward out of the tree. And, of course, he took off when we got in there. But then that's the shortest chase that you could use as an example. And the longest chase is we started it at daylight, and we caught the dogs at dark.
Yeah.
And never did catch them. I mean, what I found, the longest chases happens when you got a good dog cold trailing, and he cold trails, then he gets into an inaccessible area, and then all of a sudden he jumps the bear up, and he's by himself.
Yeah.
And you have to wait and wait and wait to get to an area to cut on that track to help him out.
I gotcha. So, yeah, you got any other questions there?
Packing in on long chases.
Yeah, and before we go into that, it is a misconception in West Virginia. It used to be illegal in West Virginia to pack in, correct?
That's right.
Which, if you don't know what packing in is, it's like, say Chad gets a bear started, and then his dogs are running it, and it crosses the road, and, Josh is tracking his dogs. What crosses the road? Josh lets his dogs out, and they start running it. That is what is considered packing in. And people, for the longest time, would message us and be like, hey,
y'all breaking the law.
Y'all are breaking the law. I'm like, listen, that is the last thing we ever want to do is break any sort of law because we're posting it on the internet. It's so we do thorough research before we do anything to make sure that we're doing it the right way because it is easy to screw up and do something illegally. There's a lot of laws. There's a lot of rules and
some of our relationships with some of the West Virginia DNR officers. I mean, we just call them.
Yeah.
We call the district offices and ask them if there's any issue that's brought up to us. We call and ask for approval, or if somebody questions what we're doing, and making sure that we interpreted the law the correct way.
Right.
We'll call and get confirmation on that.
Yeah. And so what was the packing in question though?
Was, do we pack in on long chases? Because of the state law in West Virginia, we pack in on every chase.
Right.
It's not the long chases; it's the short chases.
Which we pack in on every chase that we can. Some of them don't get to pack in because, like you said, it could be that 200-yard tree.
That's exactly right. But we're packing in. Like right now, every one of us is wanting our pups and our young dogs to get as much run time and as much experience as possible before season comes in. So we're trying to cut them in every chase.
Yep.
So the answer to the question is yes, we pack in. At every opportunity we get if there's dogs in the box.
Yeah. And so if you're one of those people in West Virginia that thought packing in was legal, because it was illegal for a long time, but they took it out of the regulations because just about every other bear hunting state, you're allowed to pack in, right?
Yeah. I mean, I remember the very first video that we did
Yeah.
was the big bear that Richard Thomas killed.
Yep.
And we had several bear hunting groups in the state get a hold of me and like, dude, you need to get it off the internet.
What are y'all doing?
What are y'all doing? And I'm like,
I'm telling.
I don't think we're doing anything. They were like, well, everybody knows you packed in right there. Yeah, we did.
Because we're allowed to.
Because we're allowed to.
Yeah.
So it was an eye opener for them. Now everybody's like, hell, we're all gonna pack in.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't like the West Virginia DNR made this big announcement. You can pack in now. I'm pretty sure it just said in the regulations, you are not allowed to pack in dogs once the chase has begun. Well, they just took it out because they realized.
That's right.
I guess. I mean, I'm assuming they realized that all the surrounding states, you're allowed to do that.
That's exactly right. I mean, it was in black and white, and now it's not even in the language anymore.
Right. So yeah, we got that. That's extremely. I mean, if you're not able to pack in, that makes it so much harder because then it's like, you'll see 5 or 6 trucks. Well, say Josh gets one started. Well, that means if everyone else isn't right there when he starts the track, legally they can't add to the race.
Right.
And so it's just it's a pain in the butt. But now that law is gone. So
Yeah. I mean, it used to be that original dogs had to start and finish the race.
Yeah.
And, it, but we don't have to worry about it anymore because it's not a law anymore.
Yeah.
So yes, we pack in.
Yep, and we're proud packers.
Yeah.
Just like Josh is proud of packing snuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and, I don't know, a couple of comments about my snuff habit. Mr. Beamer from YouTube, I apologize if you don't want me to have a spit bottle and dip a snuff in, but it's probably not going to change.
Right. And as I replied to him, guys, we don't claim to be professionals. We don't claim to be anybody other than ourselves. And, Josh likes to chew. I don't chew. Lane told me the other day he's been chewing since he was 10, which I found interesting. Sorry, Mommy and Daddy, if I just ratted on him. But yeah. Basically what I'm getting at there is, guys, we're just normal guys. We're just like you all. Everybody's got jobs but me, and I'm doing this gig full time now. So we're just normal dudes, and we like making hunting videos. It's fun,
and we like talking about it.
Right, and we like sharing our experience and
learning new things.
Right, and like the guy that came up to you in Applebee's, if y'all see us out or whatever, we are normal dudes. Just come up to us and talk. We don't care, and I love it when I get to meet someone that's like, hey, I've seen your videos or whatever. I think it's awesome. Like, awesome. Like, I sit down and talk to them and get to know them.
Yeah, I mean, I want anybody to approach me.
Yeah.
Now, I feel kind of weird that somebody knows me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel weird, but not weird towards the person coming up to me.
Right.
It's just that awkwardness of, man, this guy saw me and knows me, But it's not. I want everybody who sees me come up. I love talking outdoors and swapping stories and
making new contacts and connections.
That's exactly right.
I mean, who knows? You might be hunting with that person a year later. You might swap a hunt or something. So
anytime you see us out, if nobody's approachable, you message me and we'll fire somebody.
Yeah. If someone's rude, if they don't have our hats by the end of the month, somebody's getting fired.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, well, we're coming up on almost an hour here, guys. We've been going for quite a while. I pretty much fired out. You go.
Give me one more thing.
Okay.
Because you know how many people have asked us this question, and we're going to put it out there. It's, how do you guys keep your GPS units in your back pocket without messing it up? But we do that because so many people ask us about our chest harnesses that we wear.
Yes.
I think that's been probably the number one question since we've started releasing bear videos.
Without a doubt, the number one question. And guys, I'm going to give you a little advice. It's a chest harness. If you Google chest harness, radio chest harness, they'll come up.
Yes. If you go to Conterra safety harnesses or safety, they're a rescue company. All it is a paramedic, fireman, firefighter, a smoke jumper. It's a chest harness they use to carry their radios and a few pieces of their gear.
Right. They either got 2 or 3 pouches in them, and that's where we put our Garmin handhelds. If we're walking, we'll have a radio in there so we can holler back at a truck or something. And, they're called the one. I mean, there's multiple brands, but the one that Josh has and Chad has and everybody.
Obviously, Kirk has one too because I had to go buy a new one because he is.
Did you buy another one?
Yeah.
I'm almost positive it's in Chad's truck.
So they're made by Conterra products.
Yeah, and we're not affiliated with them or anything, but I'm telling you what, we have done a lot of business for them.
Oh yeah,
a lot.
And leading to that is why we call. Everybody wants to know why we call Kirk Captain Kirk, is because he is one of the leaders in the group, but it's not necessarily because of that. It's because he's a pirate. So we called him Captain Kirk because he participates in piracy. Anything you let Kirk borrow, or he likes something and he just grabs it, it never gets returned. That's why we call Kirk Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
Just like my chest harness. I was on vacation and he and Jay ran my dogs. My chest harness, it wasn't in my truck when I got back. He said, I've got it. He said, but it might be in Chad's truck. So now Kirk can just have that harness because I went ahead and ordered another one because I figured it'd be some time before I got it back.
Right, and like your, not to rattle myself here, this one I felt terrible for. I felt awful. It was your Sony remote.
Yeah.
How much did those things cost?
Yeah, so, it's a remote control that I use on my handle for my camera, and I knew that I had given it to Kirk. And so for 3 months, he searches everywhere. And he also had my spotting scope at the same time.
He got that back.
I did get the spotting scope back, but when I looked in the spotting scope when I sold it, after me buying a $250 controller because Kirk didn't have mine, I find the controller in the spotting scope, which he had. So now we have two.
He's got $500 worth of remote controls.
Yes, two remote controls for my camera, which I don't have a problem with because I can tell you what, during hunting season, it is good to have extras.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
for sure, no doubt. And he said I'm a pirate. That doesn't mean I don't go.
No, he's not a thief.
No, not that. I don't go to the movies on the weekend and record the movies and post them for sale. No, he just, that's my side gig.
Yeah, that's what he does on the side.
So, all right, guys. Hopefully you like this podcast. We're going to try to. I mean, they're not on a scheduled basis, but we're going to do them whenever we can. And right now they're kind of scheduled. We've done them, I guess, the last 3 Mondays.
Yeah, we're going to try to put one out every week if possible.
Right.
I mean, we might be
in season. That's going to get tough, though.
Yeah, but in season we might be in the truck, me taking a nap midday, and we could do a small podcast.
Yeah.
Any questions, comments, suggestions y'all have for topics that you want to hear about from our view, let us know. Shoot us a message. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah. And comment on any of those platforms and let us know.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's been another Untamed podcast brought to you by Lane, Kirk, and Josh.
Yeah, man.
That'll do it.